Okay. Another Saturday night. See how this one goes. 4th of July. At least here in the States. I guess it's 4th of July everywhere. But it is 4th of July in the middle of a pandemic. Why not sit at home and do some game development? I figure it's a good way to spend a Saturday night. We'll see how quiet it is tonight. I'm kind of curious to see how many people will show up. Right? This time slot's pretty US centric for most folks. Hey Sean, happy 4th of July. Pretty US centric. A lot of people out traveling, doing things. I got no need for that tonight, not with the conditions they are. So we're gonna do some work, and we'll see who shows up. And as usual, folks have questions, throw them in the chat. Do our best to answer them. Loved the last couple streams, the conversations we were able to have. But if not too many folks show up, I'll actually get some work done in my game. So I had this goal of doing some work in the game this last week while I wasn't streaming, and that didn't happen. I'm gonna make a little adjustment to my camera here. Maybe like that. And it just didn't happen. I was working on other things. I've been putting off this, not really putting off, but I've been working a bunch on this asset of mine. Somebody found a bug in it, so I've been working on that, and of course went down a rabbit hole of improvements. And I have this one lingering bug that I've been working on for, I don't know how many hours, way too many hours. I got to figure out a way to get around it, but so nonetheless, I haven't really gotten a whole lot done here in the game. So we're going to start up right where we left off. And that was the ships aren't updating their stats. And the problem with that is the ship then doesn't think it has any fuel or any energy or anything like that. So and we can see that here, over here in my inspector, right? We got these ship stats, they're all 0, which is not the way it should work. So let's see, I can't remember what's gonna trigger that. So if I go to ship build, like right now, ship build mode here, where I can add modules to my ship. And yes, my engine is still, the model is still missing, the mesh is still missing, or the materials are missing, and it's pointing the wrong way. But the more important things, the stats here are not getting called, they're not getting updated. So let's dive into that a little bit here. Let's grab our code here, and let's trim this down here to what we really need. We don't need these game managers. Doing some stuff for some future videos. Pulling some code out of this project. So let's look here. Let's take a look here at, so here is this is when we're getting the ship stats. So this here is the function. This is the function that is updating the ship stats. This is what I think is not getting called. You can see here, we've even got a debug message in here. If we go over here to our console, it got called once, twice, 3 times. It got called, so it's getting called a few times. So something's not working there. Something's not working there, and we need to get that updated. So let's check again a little bit more here with, we'll do a little search, ship stats. We'll do it like that. This is a nice little add-on here I've got here. Can't remember the full name of it, but lets you search through the console. It screws me up all the time because I see a search bar and I think I'm in my project window. So now if we go into our shipbuilding mode, okay, I must have typed something. Let's try that again. Let's see where these, I want to see when and where these updating stats get called. Looks like we got a few more folks trickling in. Happy Saturday night. Okay, so we've got one right there. We got one right off the bat. We're updating stats. Okay, and so my guess is that the stats is still running off the game object system and not off our instances. Adriano, thank you. Yeah, it's looking promising. Slowly, it's coming together. I apologize if I butchered your name. I'm really bad with names. So right now, and then if I go into, sorry, I got a frog. So then if I go into shipbuilding mode, it gets called a couple more times. We can see it's getting called. So it's getting called at the beginning, it's getting called into shipbuilding mode. And I'm willing to bet here that this is probably based off of the old system where we're looking for game objects and such things. So right there off the bat, right? So we're looking at the ship-based module. So, which is not what we want to do. We want to do the module info. We want to get the ship module info. We want to do that. And this is going to return ship module info. And then we got some errors because we've moved things around. So you've got a question there in chat. Also, if anybody is brave enough, I should actually pop in there myself. I've opened up the Discord chat, voice chat, if anybody wants to jump in there and actually ask a question with your own voice. Was originally just open to just my patrons and my channel members, but folks didn't really take advantage of that, so I figured, hey, let's open it up. Let's see, what do we got a question here? Do you know any solution to make Bolt less expensive in performance, especially for mobile games? It takes about 6 seconds to open any game, including any game included with Bolt. That I don't know. I was actually really surprised with bolts. I ended up, I don't know, about a month ago, was actually got a commission job to do some work with Bolt, and I downloaded the newest version. I was amazed at how slow and buggy and laggy it was. Somebody's informed me that it's actually been that way for a while. I don't know a way to speed it up. That'd be a great question to ask over the Discord. I mean, the default answer, it's almost a joke at this point, is that wait till Bolt 2 is out, because you'll be able to run off of C#. There'll still be a little bit of overhead, I would imagine. The code won't be fully optimized as if a human being wrote it. But yeah, sorry, I don't. And like mobile and the 2D space or two spaces, I haven't really explored. Mobile for me doesn't hold a lot of interest, to be honest. Adriano, I actually got your name right. That's impressive for me. All right, let's see if we can do some work here. So we're gonna do here module instance is connected. Let's change these things here. Ship stats. Okay, so here is the core piece here. We're adding modules, and so for better or worse, what we're doing here, I have this extension method, and we're taking in this ship modules, and we're basically adding all their stats up together. So let's see here if we can, we're just going to copy this. I don't know. I've got the text big. I'm trying to look at my preview here. Text is so big, I can almost not see it. I'm going to go down one size. Let me know if the text here is too small for you guys to see. Try to make it a little bit bigger. It's easier to see, but make it too big, then I don't get to see anything. So what we've got here is this extension method here. It's on ship stats, and we send in this ship module info, and we can do our stats from there. Let's see here. We got a few questions here. Do my best on these nights. If you guys are your first time joining, thanks for joining. Do my best just to kind of bounce back and forth between my project and your questions. So let's see what you got. When programming for mobile and touch, do you use an asset like Lean Touch, or do you do touch program directly in Bolt? Yeah, maybe somebody here. Maybe somebody here's got a little bit more experience with 2D and mobile and can speak to that better than I can. I know there was talk, I don't know, maybe a year ago, there was Lean Touch people were definitely using that with Bolt. And again, like my inability to answer is just because I haven't done any development for the 2D. Well, sorry, not 2D, for mobile. I know people have done it both ways. I think it's just it's a matter of what's easier, and looks like, yeah, we got a little bit of experience here with Lean Touch. I think it makes your life easier, so if it makes your life easier, then do it. Let's see, could I do a Bolt tutorial course for beginners? Well, maybe. Help me define what a beginner is. I think that's one of the tough things. I get a fair number of comments on maybe did I already? Sorry, I have a little brain fart here. No, we're good. I'm just surprised I don't have any errors in this function. I get a fair number of comments on some of my beginner Bolt videos. People are frustrated that they're not super beginner friendly. And I think that's because people are trying to learn Bolt and Unity at the same time. And so that to me, that's two different things there. That's two separate issues there, right? If you're trying to learn Bolt and Unity at the same time, that's pretty hard to hit both of those and move forward. I am thinking of revamping my in-person class this coming school year. Just kind of think it needs a little bit of a fresh coat of paint, maybe a substantial redesign, and with that might come some more beginner videos. But we've got some. I think we've got some of the basics there, but hard to know how people define beginner and what they really want to do. Let's see, Jacob's asking, do you think you can watch a C# tutorial and replicate it in Bolt pretty easily? I think it depends on what you mean by pretty easily. It's definitely doable. One of the videos that I was working on before Unity bought Bolt was a conversion of the Unity Rollerball tutorials into Bolt 2 specifically. And like, I have that project done. I have the script written for it. I was basically ready to start recording when I saw the announcement from those guys. And one of the goals there, the reason I bring this up, one of the goals with that video series was to help with that conversion process of how do you go from C# to Bolt, because while the commands are pretty similar, and I think you definitely can, sometimes some of the thinking, the flow, so to speak, is a little different. Yeah, right. So Jacob, yeah, you're saying there math, right? Like looking at the math of how it's done, the basic math is definitely useful, right? You can still learn from it. I think that's just a matter of, I think it's just a matter of personality and how you learn and how you think and how you understand. I actually personally find, with the example of math, I find math challenging with visual scripting, just because it ends up taking so much space. But I mean, I think that's the holy grail, right? For a lot of Bolt users, if you can watch a C# video and then translate it into Bolt, that's pretty awesome. With Bolt 1, there's some big gaps in what it can do compared to what C# can do. Those gaps get a lot smaller with Bolt 2. So, yeah, there's that. Okay. So keep the questions coming. But I'm going to see what we can do here. So this is actually pretty amazing to me that we have no errors going on here. This is kind of shocking to me. And I got fireworks going off outside. It's illegal where I'm at to shoot off fireworks this year. It is dry as a bone out where I live right now. So this is a problem here. So let's see what we're doing here. So basically what we're doing here is we've got some energy or weapon specific thing coming in, but I don't actually know that this is, I don't know that I've actually dealt with this. Let's see what this looks like. So let's go take a look. So what I've got here is I've got some weapon specific bits here. I've got this damage. I've got, well, energy use is pretty generic, but we've got this damage piece here. And I don't know that that's tied into my modifications yet. I'm not sure if that happens. So let's take a look here. We'll open up this list here. Ooh, Unity gets grumpy when there's so much in the inspector. So let's close some of the stuff down. All right, there's our laser. So there's our module data. So it's just a module data. Let's see if we can find this in our, make sure we've got our, so here's our laser scriptable object, weapon data. So it's, so it's just there in weapon data. And I believe, let's go to debug mode here. Yeah, it's in all of them. So I got rid of that specification. What you guys can see here, I don't know if Michael99 tagged in tonight. Likes to make fun of me for my love of Odin. You can see here that these are all the same scriptable object, but as I click through them, you can see their inspector is a little different. A little bit of Odin in the background. Okay, so let's fix that. We don't need to do this cast anymore. We really can just do this and go to module data. Module data weapon data. This is a B. This is a B. Like that. Oh, I love it when changes I made months ago makes the code that much easier and slicker. So we should make sure here that we also want to make sure that module data, weapon data, is not null. We don't want to throw an error if for some reason I forget to assign the weapon data. We want to make sure that we're not crashing the game. We want to make sure this continues to run. All right, so let's make sure we're all still. Sensor data is functional. Okay, that was surprisingly painless. I can't really... Let's see where all of this gets called, and it's only in this one spot, which is awesome. So now that error is solved. Man, if that worked that easily, that would be pretty rare. So let's see, with any luck here, we're going to end up with, let the Unity compile. With any luck here, we should get stats actually showing when we push play and or get that updating stats message. And there we go. Yes. Okay, so it's not very exciting, right? We just got a few numbers in the inspector, but now we've got some mass, we've got some thrust, we've got our max fuel, we've got some total fuel, we've got some engines. Weapon damage is still 0, which is kind of surprising. Let's see. I'll be brave. Try to pronounce your name. I apologize if I slaughter it, Lachlan. Let's see. Your question is when Bolt 2 is released in beta any day now. Yeah. I have to admit I'm getting a little cynical about that one. Do you think it is worth switching immediately or wait for bug fixes and a body of instruction to be created? One consideration is how much I can translate the learning of Bolt 1 logic to produce the same outcome in Bolt 2. I think there's a lot. There's a lot in there. So I think it depends. What project are you switching? Are you switching? Are you still? Hey, John B. Thanks for showing up. Good to see you again. Are you switching a project that you're hoping to sell? Are you hoping to release this project? If the answer to that is yes, then I'd be pretty cautious about switching. I think almost guaranteed the first release of Bolt 2 by Unity is going to break projects. If you are just in the process of learning Bolt, if you're in the process of learning Unity, if you're in that stage where, every couple days or every couple weeks or even every month, you're opening up a new project with a new idea, that I would say go for it. Switch. It's not going to hurt you any. Because what I've done with Bolt 2, it's way better. And to your earlier, I guess it was Jacob's question. So to Jacob's earlier question, I mean, Bolt 2 will be far easier to translate C# into Bolt 2. It just translates way better. You have functions, you have classes. It just makes a whole lot more sense. Even just the simple things like the vertical flow and the proxies make it so much easier. Should you switch to Bolt 2 now? I mean, it was pretty buggy. The last release of Bolt 2 was pretty buggy. As I was saying earlier, I was in the process of making videos with it, so it's not totally buggy, but I was avoiding any of the features that were known to be buggy. I wasn't showing those in my videos, and I wasn't even trying to deal with them. But right now, you can't get a hold of Bolt 2. You might be able to find somebody who will send you the files, but you can't get a copy of it right now. Unity said in April that it would be 2 weeks until they had a beta for us. I know they're working hard, but it feels a little bit like the classic Unity overpromise and then go dead silent. I'm not sure Unity has made an official post on the forum in, I think we're easily 2 weeks. So I'm going to go here and add an NPC back in, and because the whole goal of what I'm working on right now is I want to get the combat back to working. I've made this shift to these instances and kind of more of a data oriented approach, and it's broken everything. So I want to see if the combat can function again. At the very least, I want to see the NPC shoot something. Okay, so it's loading up its weapons, which is great. And it doesn't shoot anything. Okay. It is, however, updating its stats like crazy. So let's take a pause here. Let's make sure that, let's check out our combat manager, which is, for better or worse, I've stored the, when they go into combat, that's where the ships go. Okay, so our NPC now has all kinds of stats, right? It's a big ship. Obviously I got to work on the camera zooming. It's pretty horrible, but that's okay. So we've got all these stats, which is great. It's got fuel. It's got weapons. It's got everything here. So all right, so that's feeling a whole lot better. Now I got to figure out a couple things here. So last stream, you can see here if I unpause, come back in here. So obviously the scaling of this is bad. I'm not sure why we're lagging. Oh, we're lagging because I'm posting to the console billion times a frame. I should be able to turn my bridge on, which should let me power other things. So that might be the first thing to figure out. I also don't know why this guy's not, why the NPC is not shooting. It's possible we're doing something with time. I don't think so. What this error was about. Oh, I think this is just me. Okay, anyways, we've got the stats updating. So let's get these debug statements out of here. Actually, that's still a pretty useful. This is a nice one because then I can see if the energy's gone to 0. Oh, let's see. We got a few comments over in the chat. Have you ever thought about making? Oh, I might have missed a couple here. Let's see. Sean, speaking about Unity, not Bolt. I'm tired of upgrading. It's just too much work. Sean, what do you mean by upgrading? You mean like upgrading the version of Unity? I hear that. I definitely hear that. I'm on an old version here, or relatively old. I'm on 2019.2. I only upgrade when I need or something's broken. Let's see what else we got here. Shadow is light. Have you ever thought about making an RPG using a Bolt? No. One of the reasons I would not think about making an RPG purely with Bolt is that Bolt 1 does not have a lot of built-in data management, data handling. It just doesn't have a system to. it just doesn't have a system to deal with data. And so with an RPG, right, you're dealing with all kinds of stats, all kinds of items. You're having dialogues, you're having characters and enemies. You have all this different stuff that just doesn't fit in purely with Bolt. And so you're going to end up with, you're going to end up using some C#, which is, as you can see on my screen, that's kind of still my preferred way. I'm faster with it. Again, assuming Bolt 2 is not vaporware, when it finally gets released, it handles data way better. And then I think it would potentially be reasonable. The other thing with an RPG is it's just a huge ass game. It's pretty hard for a single person to make one of any large substance. I think you have to be very stylized and very careful how you shape that. But I wouldn't choose to do it with Bolt. You would at the very least need to, at the very least, you would need some C# in there for scriptable objects to hold that data. Scriptable objects are they're awesome. And with Bolt 2, they're effectively built into the system, or something equivalent to them is. Let's see here, Jacob. Are there any great in-depth tutorials on menus, hopefully in Bolt? I'm not aware of anything that really focuses on the UI. Is there anything in particular, Jacob, what you're looking for menus in Bolt? Griffin Brooks, how we doing? Thanks for joining. Sean, you wanted the effects graph. Yeah, I feel like I'm so far behind on some of the stuff. It feels like they just, I feel like Unity is trying to compete for the kind of enterprise AAA market. And as a result, they just keep putting all these new things in that I think I've said this multiple streams. There's this rant building in the back of my head of don't get distracted by all the flashy toys. Just make something fun. You don't need the flashy toys to do that. What was I playing? What was I playing the last couple nights? The latest game by the FTL guys, the little mech warrior one. I look at that game. It does not have any of the fancy stuff at all. It doesn't have all that fancy stuff. It doesn't have, the fancy rendering pipelines and all that stuff. It's just a good game. And yeah, I'm sure the programming behind it for the procedural generation, yada yada, and the AI, that's not simple, but it's just a good game. And that's the kind of game in my mind that we should all be trying to make. And yeah, if you can add some eye candy, that's great. But anyways, okay. So this thing is now, we're now working here. We got rid of that debug statement, so we're not spamming the console. Which, if you guys are new to Unity, that is about the best way to slow the editor down. Spam a message to the console a few times a frame and frame rate will drop in a hurry. Okay, so what I want to figure out now is, that's working. What I want to figure out now is why can't I power up the bridge? This is what I want to see. And so we'll wait here just a minute and let our NPC start combat. So what I'm kind of curious about here is, notice how much better my frame rate is now that I'm not spamming the, we're out of fuel. Who the frick is out of fuel? Should not be out of fuel at all. Max fuel, you have fuel. You have fuel. Where the hell is that coming from? Oh, there goes our frame rate. I don't know what's going on. Why are we down at 30 FPS? There's like no reason for that. Actually, this was a bug that I hunted down a little bit. I switched over my project to using TextMesh Pro just because it looks so much better than the built-in Unity text. And as a result of what I'm doing here, I'm turning some of it on and off, and it is causing major stuttering. Okay, so that ship, okay, now the NPC ship is now out of fuel. I can see that here, or it's out of ship. All of its weapons are down. Why? Interesting. John B, do I use Blender for art? Yes, I do. I like Blender. It's been a long time since I've spent much time with it, but I do like Blender. Looking forward to getting back into it. If I can ever get over this hurdle of all these issues that I've introduced by ripping the guts of my game out and replacing it with better code. Seriously, what is going on with the frame rate? We're down to 14 frames per 8? 6? 7? What in the world? All right, a little too Miyazaki for me. Wow, and it's just dropping like crazy. We got a leak somewhere. I probably said this in the past couple streams. Teaching a class in Blender, real life class in Blender, starting in the fall. I'm looking forward to it. I've done a little bit of teaching with Blender, and I really enjoy it. The kids usually really enjoy it, so I'm looking forward to getting back into that. Okay, so let's try that again. I don't know what's causing that frame rate to drop like crazy. I'm pretty sure it's my text mesh stuff getting turned on and off, and it has to do with my object pooling. I don't know this object pooling. I was trying to hunt it down, and all right, so here we go. We're here. We're at. So again, like I've lost my cursor now again, which is not. Seriously, who the hell's out of fuel? All right, neither of us are out of fuel. Okay, you can see the NPC's fuel is dropping because he's all powered up. All right. So I'm spamming this message here. Let's see here. All right, I don't care about repair mode. I got rid of that. Anyways, that's an old feature that needs to die. I don't know what is going on. So let's do a little experimenting here. So we're gonna get rid of our NPC. What's that, John B? There's a hole in game asset creation in Blender. What's the? Explain that hole to me a little bit more. What hole are you seeing? Okay, so we're working there. So our selection. Notice it skips this middle structure. I've got a bug there. I've got about a bazillion bugs to fix. I didn't realize how gutted how much I changed. It's all gonna be for the better, but it's gonna take a long time to figure this out. So I should be able to toggle it on here. Let's look at our, okay. So first thing we could do is get our, I don't actually, that's not what I was thinking it was. Okay. Okay. It'd be nice if I had my ship stats showing. I guess that's not all that crucial for right now. You mean courses on YouTube or Udemy? Yeah, but like, so what specifically are like? I mean, I guess it depends on the level of the level of sophistication. John B, what are you looking for? Like, are you looking for like a realistic? Are you looking for realistic art? Are you looking for low poly stuff? Just kind of curious. I'm not trying to like, you know, dig in, or I'm just kind of curious what your take on that is. Okay, so this, I should be able to right click and turn this on. So let's go here. I think this is ship repair. No, I don't. I changed the ship repair. I was originally going to have that be something that something that was a little more engaged, or a little more player involved, but I decided to make it a little bit more automated. It felt just too clicky and managey. Like didn't like that. You're a low poly guy. I like low poly. I feel like anybody who's working by themselves or even in a small team should be either doing low poly, maybe pixel art, or like voxel art. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Yeah, John B, I'm just kind of fascinated by this because, right, like if there's a gap there, I'd love to, right, especially if it's low poly, I'd love to fill that. All right, I think this is broken too. Yep, that's broken. Okay, let's get this power up thing working. I think we can do it here in the ship building window. So I'm pretty sure, for better or worse, that is in my, there I go, typing in my console. Ship module base. That should be my ship module base. That should be in here. So let's. Oh, we're already shrunk down. Whoa, that's a lot of space. There's a lot going on in this class. All right, so we've got some mouse events. For better or worse, we've got some mouse events here. It should probably ideally be pulled off into another class so that they're not mixed into the ship module base. But I've refactored so much of this game right now, I don't want to do any more and continue to wreck it. Hassan, I'm gonna butcher your name, Hassan. Thanks for the encouragement. Appreciate it. Doing the best we can here. Learning every day and hopefully getting a little bit better. I can't remember, I kind of vaguely remember their avatar. Last week gave me the suggestion of cheat codes for next video. That's happening. Anybody else got some great ideas for future videos? Hey, Script. Thanks for joining. Hey, Jumbie. Yeah, I get you there, right? Creating assets. Yeah, rigging is tough. I've done a little bit of rigging. One of the things I love about my current project, I think I said this before, was I partially chose this project because it didn't have any humans that I had to rig. I've done some rigging of non-humanoid characters, and that was kind of fun. Made like this, it was for my old project, the steam engine kind of thing with gears and pistons and stuff. It was pretty fun, but it's one of those levels of complication that I'm choosing to stay away from. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is... This is our issue here. So if we're not powered, module is functional. Okay, so let's dig into some of our stats here of our bridge and see if we can figure out what's going on. You're using Auto Rig Pro. Yeah, that's, I don't know that one, but I was using Adobe bought it, Mixamo. That's what I've used. Okay, so here's the problem once again is our bridge is not functional.
In Colorado, keeping things chill is just in our nature. All we need is a tent and a fire.
So all these other okay, so everything else is functional. Why the frick is our bridge not functional? So this could be the core of a lot of problems. I wonder if the NPC's bridge was functional. Okay, so our own connection to the bridge is ourself, which is great. So we're connected to it. We got adjacent modules, which is the structure, which is great. So that's all correct. So why are we not functional? So that's what we're failing right now. That's what we're failing. We're not functional. So our bridge needs to be functional. And I'm willing to bet once we can do that, we can get a lot more things. And these other things, frankly, shouldn't be functional if the bridge isn't functional. This could be a big piece of it. It can rig a character in 5 minutes. Yeah, like for me, Mixamo, like I don't know if it's, I think it's still there. I think it's still functional. That was great. Like send your character in, it gets rigged, you pull it back out, you're good to go, and then you can use animations from any other humanoid animations in Unity. I thought it was pretty awesome. Script, your questions are always so good and insightful. It needs to be functional before it can be powered. It needs to be functional before it can be powered. And so let's go check that code. That code was kind of a janky nightmare. That I think I removed most of the jankiness from it. So here's our check for functionality. Okay, so hit points. Okay, so we should definitely check the hit points. So this here is all about, this is one of those game mechanics that I need to think through and play around with it a bunch. Basically, I think this constant here is, it's a 25%. So if you're at 20, if your hit points are below 25%, you go non-functional. Just is neither here nor there. That's just the way I've created, but it's this static value, so I can change it whenever I need to. And then basically we check to see if we are that. So I'm wondering, let's try this again. I wonder if for some reason are we not? Hit points are 100. Let's look at our data here. Script, I can't remember. I feel like this might have been you that suggested adding in this Boolean here. Requires energy to be toggled or to be powered. Maybe we need to incorporate that. Might need to incorporate that into our toggle can be powered, starts unlocked. Starts unlocked is just, that's a way of making some sort of progression on the modules. You know, pretty standard game mechanic there of unlocking things as you go. I've played a bunch of games lately where like everything is unlocked right from the beginning. And I found it kind of overwhelming. Not only is sometimes I think it's not only you know, a little cliche game mechanic, but it's also a good way to kind of ease your player in. I can't give you an example of what game is playing. I often buy 1 or 2 games a month and just play for a couple hours and, you know, see what I can learn from it. But I played some games and they just like toss you in, and all of a sudden you've got like 100 things you can build and not knowing the order, and I don't know. Anyways, I've also played games where it's the other way around, where you start with like 3 things and you just gotta like grind your way through. And I think there's some happy medium in there. So where are starting hit points is 1,000. Well, that's right there. Okay, so that's exactly what's happening. I'm gonna point at the screen. You guys can't see it. Starting hit points is 1,000, but we only have 100. So we're below that threshold. So that is exactly what's happening. And the reason I want my starting hit points to be 1,000, I think I was talking about this last stream. I haven't decided some of the game mechanics. And so I don't want the bridge to be like so easily taken down that it then like disables your whole ship, because if your bridge is gone, then your ship shouldn't work, right? Okay, so that is almost guaranteed to be the issue. So if I do this, we're now like, okay, now we're functional. That toggled on, and we can now power our bridge up, which means I can probably now power. Oh, I can't power that up yet. Why can I not power up my... There's also some bugginess here, and occasionally like it gets left, like it shouldn't still be there. I don't know. Okay, so let's look at our ship here. We've got fuel. Okay, we're finding bugs one at a time, but let's find what we're doing. Fuel consumption. Shouldn't really be consuming any fuel, frankly. I guess our engine is on. Okay, we can turn our engine off. Ooh, our frame rate's tanking. No, it's not really tanking. Still at 90. So We're producing 5 energy. And we're not really... We're not using any. Okay, so let's look at our laser. Is our laser functional? Our laser is also not functional. Interesting. Because its hit points are 0. All right, let's look at that. Starting hit points are 100. This is interesting. This is my weapon module. I haven't updated this inspector. In fact, I think I just ditched the inspector and haven't done anything with Odin. You can see my other modules, the non-weapon modules, look at least sort of passable. This one needs to be Odinified. I don't know what they... I need to use Odin on it. Okay, so I'm sure that's our issue too, that we've got... Power's gonna... Okay. So this is like showing how powered up the weapon is. And it's dropping down because it's not powered at the moment. And so we got the same issue there. Our hit points are not getting... Let's see if our connection... Okay, we are connected to the bridge, so that's good. Adjacent modules. But it's that damn hit points thing again. Okay. So at least we've got the bridge functional. So what I need to figure out is when we are loading these things in, why are our hit points, why are they not working? So unfortunately, it's probably going to take me back to the load save feature. All right, let's try something here. Let's go back. All right, we're back to this mode here. Okay, so we didn't save our on-off state. Okay, but we saved our hit points, which is good. I don't know why I can't. All right, one thing at a time. So we've now got our bridge functional. So let's go back and we'll worry about the weapon in a minute. I know my goal is like, I want to see the ships shoot at each other. They've shot at each other before. So I put the NPC back in. We'll give it a minute here. The NPC's out warping around the universe galaxy here. Brings it in. And then what I want to do... Okay. Oh, so many freaking issues. So let's look at our NPC ship and see here. Okay, so it's functional, it's doing its thing. I don't know why it's not targeting us. Let's look at the player bridge. We're functional. That's interesting that is stuck at 0. All right, let's try something else here. So let's go back to our universe, make that 0. here we go. Let's go back into our shipbuilding. Let's check out our, okay, so our laser, still this way. So if we get rid of our laser, we put another laser in. Now it has 100 hit points. Okay, so that may have just been some leftover. Make sure everything else actually has. Okay, that bridge is huge. Everything else is pretty uniform. Okay, so that may have just been, I've been working with the load and save. I may have just had some weird holdover. Working with the load and save features are weird. It just kind of screwed with my head. Okay, so let's do something here. So these messages, I'd actually like these to be shown while we're doing our shipbuilding. Honestly, can't remember what I called that thing. I don't use Peek very often. We were talking about this thing the last stream. Peek, being able to right click and see everything that you potentially can click on is so nice. Might be my favorite feature of Peek. So, okay, so here's our messages. And I want this to be shown during shipbuilder mode. So I've got this nice script here that does my movement of UI objects. And then here's all the modes that it'll be shown for. So I should be able just to turn it on so that it gets shown in ship build. Which may not, I don't actually want the player input. Let's see if that should show those messages then. All right. So there we go. Now it's still in there. So if I add another, obviously I need to get this to disappear. If I add another laser in there, there we go. We can still see our messages. And then if I type, I can see it now. Oops. Okay. Well, let's make sure. You notice there that like my modules don't exist when I'm not in either shipbuilding or combat modes. Okay, so they're both like powered up. Bridge is powered up. Oh, and now, okay, now I can power up my lasers. That's a small victory. Okay, the fuels, they don't get powered up. Okay. A little bit of faith getting restored here in what I've created. Obviously, we're still a buggy nightmare. So the next thing is I need this UI to be showing. I need this UI to be showing. So let's click on this here. I need this to be showing in combat mode. So I'm just going to select it in the hierarchy. So okay. Actually, we're just going to keep it like that. We're going to go out of play mode. We're going to put our NPC back in there. Go to play and let it start up the combat again. Again, if anybody's got questions, it's a quiet night here. 4th of July in the States. 4th of July everywhere. Well, I suppose depending where you are, it could be the 5th of July. Okay. So what I need is this module highlight. So this is my... So it's pulsing. So where the hell is this thing? Okay, so it's over there doing its pulsy thing. Okay. Oh, okay. Now, why the hell are we sort of working now? So now I can power up my lasers. Okay. This would be a miracle. Okay. Variable of targeting cursor has not been assigned. So that's good. Those kind of errors are helpful. So here's my input manager. Why is that coming from my input manager? Sean's the 5th here as of 5 minutes ago. Nice. Where are you? Where does that put you? Eastern Canada? Well, anyways, congratulations to making it to the 5th. All right, so okay, so we got to get this combat. We got to get this targeting cursor working. I don't even actually see it. Nova Scotia. Had a moment of panic there of NS. I think that's Nova Scotia. Put my ignorance on full display. Okay, so let's figure out where this let's get this cursor working. It's going to be in here. All right, let's figure out where this cursor is. Well, let's just go to this error. Let's go to this error and figure out where this is from. Let's let Unity out of its little play loop. Okay, so targeting cursor. Let's go to our definition. Where is this defined? This is on my combat manager, targeting cursor. Why the hell? Why is that showing? Why is that taking me to my input manager? Don't know. All right, well, let's also save the changes we made over here. Okay, so our targeting cursor, I can't remember if I actually... We're compiling. So targeting cursor, no surprise there. It's not line. It is not shown here. Target cursor, like that. Let's go to our scene view. Okay. So we're there. We are there. Probably should code that a little bit smarter so that we don't we can still shoot whether the cursor is there or not. I would call tonight a huge success if I can just shoot once. All right, so we're gonna, what the balls? Something's really broken with my input, and this is this stupid repair thing, which needs to get ripped out of here. No better way to find it than just to, oh geez, I have to, it's in the freaking prefab. Why is everything open? All right. Goodbye. Okay. We're not doing repairs anymore. We're not doing it that way. Okay, so let's go to, there I go, type it in the console again. Ship repair. Let's go, we were kind of triggering this issue earlier. All right, ship repair. All right, we do not want to. Just all the repair stuff is being done automatically. So let's just turn that off for now. Come on. Okay. Why is my cursor still there? Oh, sorry. It's getting to be a long night. Okay. So we may have broken a few other things. We might get some errors here with what have you. All right, so let's wait and let's see this NPC come and get us. Why are we struggling here? Why is my bitrate so slow right now? Look at our... Nothing in the system is particularly stressed out. Why are we? All right. So let's see here. We've got this. And we like our cursor still doesn't quite show up. So where the hell is this? I have too many things in my... Okay, so it is... I don't understand. Do we throw an error here? Why is my cursor not always showing up? No, it's like there's something blocking it. Hey, John B. Let's see. Have I used ECS? Not really. Not really. I've used it a little bit. Ever so slightly. I got to admit that at this point, I'm not super... We just like, why is Unity so non-responsive? Why are we at, I guess we were doing this before. We got these issues. I need to fix the frame rate or the performance here in combat. I'm sure it's got to do with my UI. which might be why this isn't working either. The again with the ECS, like I just, when it's done and ready and you know in like a proper maybe beta state, then maybe I'll take a look at it.
Serious? You didn't know that? It's called Three Girls, One Keith. I hosted along with my best friends.
I'm just like, still not convinced that it's really the right tool for.
I'm mad, but I'm mad. Okay,
I'm not just convinced it's the right tool for somebody like myself.
The great news is you're in
Okay, so we're all working here.
Amy Schumer presents Three Girls, One Keith, and listen for free. Only on
Of course, my cursor didn't disappear.
Getting some likes on my Tiny Tacos post. Phone's heating up a bit here. You liked my Tiny Tacos, so they're back for good.
Okay. Okay, so interesting. So now it sort of works. So if I why can't we?
Which means that Geico is always there for you. If only everyone was always there for you, like your mom when you fill out really, really important paperwork on the first day of a new job.
Name, check, birthday, social security. Is that a thing?
Why are you giving me this hard time?
Mom?
What piece of junky code is not working
Gemini. Hashtag.
consistently? I don't know why Unity is lagging so bad.
In Colorado, keeping
Okay, we are out of fuel. That is why.
tent and a fire to create our new favorite outdoor bar. We love floating down the Colorado River, especially when the VIP float is dedicated to ice and beer. And the snow will
Okay.
drive us indoors. We'll just kick back in our hot tub and
Oh, interesting.
Coors Light in the snow, just a few feet away. Coors Light, keeping Colorado chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
All right.
Celebrate responsibly. Coors Light proudly brews throughout the U.S.
All right, so let's power this up before my frame rate totally drops. Maybe we'll, you know, let's explore this error here, or why our frame rate is dropping so badly. Oh. Okay. We've got to figure out this frame rate because 10 FPS is not, this is not reasonable. Okay. Jumpy, other than Bolt, do I use any other packages? The other thing that I'm using in this game here is Odin. Odin Inspector, it's great. Especially for a larger project like this, is really, really useful. Whole channel devoted to that one. The other thing that I'm using here, there's probably a couple other pieces in here. We can take, let's pause this. I'm gonna pull out the profiler here and see what's going on. Let's see what other, I'm using a handful here actually, yeah. So Peak is in here mostly because I was trying to play around with it. I find it useful occasionally. Click to bind, that's actually my own tool. Aurora 2, that's how I'm kind of getting that spacey look around the solar systems. And TextMesh Pro. I'm also using, did I say this? Easy Save 2 or 3, whatever version it's on now. Easy Save 3. I've got some issues with Easy Save. It's not, you can see, actually, it looks like it's behaving this time around. There's some inconsistency that I can't quite figure out what's going on with it, but I really like Easy Save. I think it works really well. It's pretty darn easy to use. Oh, this is interesting. What the hell's okay? So let's grab our profiler here. This is not going to be very exciting, but let's analysis. Let's grab our profiler. Let's dock our profiler here, and let's see. Oh, there we go. Well, this is going to take a minute. This is going to take a little while for this to load back up. So any questions out there? Happy to answer those questions. Any thoughts? Oh, it's kind of a quieter night tonight. Lots of folks out celebrating. It's gonna take a little while. For better or worse, I use Collaborate, and it's got to check through the project each time you load it up. I like it because it's built into Unity. It works pretty well. Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna open up our profiler again. Like so. And we're gonna play. We're gonna play and see if we can just watch this go into combat here. Hopefully we don't have to do a deep profile. I get rid of my ship. Like, nope, I did. Let's put our NPC back in here. I'm almost positive this is still coming from UI issues. TextMesh Pro seems to have a lot of baggage about turning things on and off, way more so than Unity's built-in system, at least to my experience. So let's see if we can wait till the combat goes up, and let's see what happens here. Okay, so we got a big spike as we come in. This is exciting. Play-by-play profiler. So there we go. So whatever that hell that thing is, you can see it growing like crazy. And see if we can find a nice big one here. Scripted collab's the worst. Yeah, I can imagine, right? It's the worst source control ever. Like, for me, like, this is just me. I'm really using it as a pretty simple way of, like, I'm not working on this project with anybody else. For me right now, it's working, but it's partially just because I'm not terribly sophisticated. So yeah, it's the freaking editor that's doing this. It's the editor that is going nuts. Not spamming a ton of messages. I've only got, there's some in there, but not crazy. It's a freaking editor loop. Huh. Gotta be some garbage collection in the editor. Sean, let's see what you said. Yeah, I'm not using the green screen tonight. Yeah, you know, my webcam, that's all I got is a decent webcam. Better cameras. Maybe a couple months out, using my Odin paycheck to upgrade the system here. The green screen, like, I think it's a little bit nicer. Like, it takes up a little less space on the screen itself. I don't have a proper green screen, so my webcam just kind of did it on its own. And frankly, I went back and looked at the video, and it looked so crappy. I decided, nope, not gonna do that. And I'd already ordered some really simple lights for use here and for making videos. So I decided, hey, tonight we're just gonna do it regular. Okay, so we need to profile the editor. So let's see what the hell is going on here. Okay, so let's watch that ramp up again. See if we can catch those spikes of the editor. Yeah, you know, I've thought about hanging a proper green screen or I don't even think it has to be super proper, but I needed proper lights before that could work well. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. You guys can see a little bit more of the video making paraphernalia back there. My head's blocking a monitor, but you can see some sound dampening on the back door there. Okay. So our editor loop is behaving. The hell? This kind of thing makes me want to scream sometimes with the Unity. I'm like, really? So my code's working, or my code seems to be working fine, and it's the editor that is causing the major lag. And I know if you're ever going to like test a game, if you're going to really profile a game, you need to do it in a proper standalone build. What the hell's happening now? All right, we're dropped to like 70 FPS, which just still seems like, okay, now we've got something going on, but it's something totally different. Okay, my frame rate's dropping still. So this, like the frame rate up here in stats is notoriously not accurate. Also, when you pause the game is not accurate. Yep, it's one of those days. Okay, so my editor is definitely... But we're not doing anything crazy, right? I mean, we're sitting there at like 15, 20 milliseconds. We're not going up. We've got these big spikes that is... So you can see that that's my UI, right? Like I'm doing something wrong with my UI that's getting those big spikes like that. I mean, lag spikes in a game like... Oh, and you can see the lag spikes, can't you? Interesting. So what if we turn off the profile editor? Let's go take a look at this. Okay. Let's just open up the whole can of worms here. Sorry if I'm sighing into the microphone. That's like totally unhelpful layout. Don't make me turn the deep profile on. So once again, we've got this. Let's get to a big peak here. Okay, so we've got this giant ass editor spike, which is really frustrating, but we got the player loop, so this one's real. All right, so there's not a whole lot going on there. Let's see what our camera render. Nope, that's not what I want. It's all in update. So it's all this UI crap. Okay, so there's our... Same idea. Okay, let's go to play mode. Let's clear all this. I think it's going to do its deep profile-y thing. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So let's try this again. Again, if anybody's got questions, feel free to drop them into chat. I'm definitely getting a little cross-eyed here. I'm only wrapping up here a little bit. All right. So we're nice and happy, 130 FPS. That's great, especially for a game like this. We still got this big editor spike here, which is frustrating. And
If you want an SUV that's on the move like you, check out the first
why is my frame rate so wildly different?
that offers advanced tech features.
Okay, let's see if we can figure out.
Look easy. Visit Buick.com for great offers.
We got a couple issues here. We got this big spike here.
Hey Colorado, FanDuel Sportsbook here with an important message. Don't call
Which looks like we've got editor loop there. That's our okay, so our editor loop, I don't know that I can fix that.
and stream
So let's focus in on here and figure out what in the world is causing these.
the $500 back.
Camera render is up, but that's probably,
Bet must be 21 plus. Visit FanDuel.com/.
that's an optimization issue.
Call 1-800-522-700.
Okay. So that is, it's a big chunk of time right there. Definitely got some other stuff that's really... Player update canvases. Actually, yep. There is... That's a Text Mesh Pro issue there. That's huge right there. This get color. And that is just, that's huge. Okay, so let's take a look at that get color. That's not everything, but that's a big chunk. And I think part of this is, as I've been saying, the UI piece. So let's take a look at that. We've got to get this frame rate under control before too much testing can happen. So get color, find, it's got to be this find all color data. No, but except if we're going 0. So let's look at here's our color manager. Got all these colors. So I know this weapon panel thing, like this was a bit of a nightmare, but it is mostly this get color. So why is that? I mean, why are we calling it 2,800 times? I don't know, guys. I'm going a little cross-eyed. I'm a little tired. This is kind of a deep problem here. I'm not sure I'm going to solve it tonight. So I think I'm going to call it quits for the evening. I know it is a holiday here in the States. A lot of folks are out celebrating, so it's a quiet night tonight. I did expect a little bit lower turnout. I do appreciate you guys for showing up. Some of you guys have been here for multiple nights, multiple weeks in a row. We're going to keep doing this. It's good fun. So next Saturday, keep your eyes open. Definitely going to do this again. So anyways, I'm going to call it an evening for now. Been on here for an hour and a half. I don't think I'm going to make a lot of progress. So again, thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys next week.